Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Township of Chatham Township Committee meeting for December 1st, 2016. Greg, has adequate notice of the meeting been given?
Yes, adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. Notice was given in both the Chatham Courier and the Morris County Daily Record on January 8th, 2016. Notice was posted on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building on January 8th, 2016, and notice was filed with me on January 8th, 2016.
Very well. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Gallup? Here. Mr. Kelly?
Here.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sullivan?
Here.
Mayor Ritter said he will be late.
Very well. Any questions on the agenda before we proceed tonight? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reports? Mike, you want to start us off?
Sure. Thank you very much. Just one item tonight on the Chatham Community Garden. Reminder notices have been sent to all the current plot holders, reminding them that now is the time to send in their payment and their paperwork for next year's garden. So please, if you are a current plot holder and you haven't taken advantage of that yet, please give it some thought and send in your paperwork, because at the same time we're inviting all interested parties to send in their paperwork who would like to become plot holders. And the next step will be to start assigning those unassigned plots to new gardeners. And we were fully subscribed last year, and we know that there'll be some openings. So we have a couple of people who are moving out of town and moving on. So we know there'll be some openings, and we are inviting all interested parties to send in their interested applications, which they can find on the website under the Community Garden tab. Thank you.
So how does it work? Is it you have to renew each year? Or
Yes. Yep.
What's the deadline for
The deadline is between now and the end of the year, basically. It's we've been asking them to get it in by November so we could do the organizing in December, but I think we'll probably spread it out.
a firm date so people know?
They're already past the deadline. They really should move as quickly as they can.
But we've had existing plots that are already open.
Yes, we do.
So shouldn't, hopefully, unless there's a big rush this year.
Nobody was shut out last year. It worked out perfectly, and a few spots filled up as they really right during the spring. But we hope it works out.
Better to get it in ahead.
Yes.
Very good. Bob? No reports. Karen?
All right, thank you. A couple of things. First of all, our Department of Public Works has gotten around to cooperating and they're always cooperating. They're cooperating with our paving company and taking care of the lot adjacent to the tennis courts over on Spring Street. And that will be closed for striping and will be open for use come Monday. So that will be a nice augment to the kids coming home from Southern Boulevard School and walking up the side path. So thanks to our DPW for that. Also, if you'll look around town, you'll start seeing our Christmas decorations going up, and winter sports are in effect. So therefore, we have no outdoor sports to have to worry about anymore. Our playing fields are pretty much getting locked down, and that's great. On the utility front, we have received word from JCP&L that they will be doing a vegetation management exercise along certain streets of the township, mostly out in the Green Village area, Lewanika Way, Treadwell, and Woodland. Also, JCP&L has reminded us to exercise electrical caution during the holiday season when we are lighting more lights and having every outlet in the house occupied. I've forwarded along some information to our community access and perhaps for our website, just as some reminders for safe holiday lighting tips from JCP&L. We've also heard from our water company regarding discussing repairing some mains along Lafayette Avenue near the high school. We've had some issues with those in the past, but they've cooperated with us in not digging up our newly paved street on Lafayette in around 2011. So we're going to be revisiting that, and that's what I have from the utility front.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. John's not here. Chief, you have anything? No? Nothing?
Okay.
John's not here, but I can do a real quick Reader's Digest version. The Wickham Woods drainage contract is about to begin. They're trying to get the contractor mobilized. Colony Pool wall reconstruction is underway. I think they're pretty much finished with the demolition and getting ready to pour the footings. So those are his two projects that are active. I believe we're rebidding the electrical work for the generator this evening.
Yeah, the bid opening will be on December 15th at 11 a.m.
Very good. Mr. Cruz, do you have any, you don't want to weigh in on Mr. Castro's demise? Not tonight, some other time? All right, thank you. All right, moving right along. Hearing of citizens, this is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues which are not topics scheduled for public hearing tonight. Please come forth, state your name and address on the topic you might want to discuss. Please, Rob.
Good evening, Rob Walden, Jersey Central Power and Light, 52 Chatham Road in the city of Summit. Thank you for the passing along our information that we send out. It's good to know.
I hope I didn't steal your thunder.
No, not at all.
Came in so
It's
quickly,
completely
I
different
didn't see
topics. We did complete 2 circuit upgrades this past summer, and I printed out a piece of paper, but I left it on my desk, so forgive me for reading my phone. Both of them in Chatham Township, the 813 circuit and 814 circuit out of the Green Village substation. There were some reliability issues, so on one of the circuits we installed disconnect switches where the circuit splits. We installed spacers, replaced some of the aluminum dead-end insulators with polymer insulators. Aluminum insulators wear down faster than the polymers do, so we try to replace those where we can. On the other circuit, on the 814 circuit, we replaced the spacers. We use a lot of spacer cable, and they use plastic spacers to keep the cable separated. Sometimes those plastic cable spacers crack. We try to replace those when we can. We replaced some lightning arresters. We added additional lightning arresters, so if lightning does strike that circuit, instead of affecting the wires, it gets diffused into the ground. We replaced some of the porcelain cutouts with polymers. Again, this is an old glass device which can crack over time. We replaced them with modern polymers when we had the opportunity. We also identified 3 poles which we've asked for Verizon to replace. So we continually look at our circuits, try to find where they're not performing as we'd like, and then when we find those places, we create work orders and go out and fix them, and we did that to 2 circuits in Chatham Township. The Green Village subserves the northern swath of the township, extends all the way into New Providence and beyond that into Summit a little bit. So that's what we've been up to. Other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year, unless anybody has a question.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Good night. Anyone else? Seeing no one else come forward, I'm going to close out this portion of the hearing of citizens, and we're going to move on to public hearing for the final adoption of an ordinance this evening. This is ordinance 2016-19, amending zoning map and rezoning certain properties on Chestnut Road. This is an ordinance of the Township of Chatham, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, to amend subsection 30-75.2, titled Map and Schedule of Chapter 30, titled Land Development of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Chatham, to change the zoning district classification on the official zoning map from R3 Residence District to R4 Residence District for the following properties. Block 54, lots 10, lots 11.01, 11.02, lots 12, 13, 14, and 15, fronting on Chestnut Road near its intersection with Fairmont Avenue. Would anyone like to come forth and speak before we take action on this ordinance? Seeing no one come forward, I'm going to close out the public hearing of ordinance 2016-19. Would anyone on the committee have any comments before we move for a motion? The motion, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just to report to you that the planning board did take this up again at the meeting last week, as you know, and the determination was made that the ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. And I believe a memo was sent to your
They did that for
attention.
the second time.
And Tom, just for the public record, I mean, we got the memo. Could you just explain for the public what that means?
What that means?
In other words, yeah, I mean,
It means that, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. It's a strange turn of a phrase, but the ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. Or it is consistent. You can, if you,
in other words, that area is zoned for single-family housing.
it is.
And the changing of this zoning will not change the nature.
Will not. I think the view, Mr. Gallup, really was that there was an error made in the original designation, and that this is correcting what was a longstanding error, because these particular properties were rendered non-conforming in that they could not satisfy the bulk requirements of the previous designation, and that they are more suited to this designation, and also that they are immediately adjacent and blend right into the rest of the zone that is the R4.
So it will make it easier for residents in that area to make certain improvements to their houses without having to go through asking for variances. and things
Correct.
like that.
As it currently stands, all of the structures on those lots would be considered pre-existing non-conforming structures because they do not satisfy the bulk requirements as it relates to front and rear yard setbacks. And they are physically unable to meet those conditions because the R3 requires 50-foot front and 50-foot rear, and these properties are only 100-foot deep. So if you take out a 50-foot rear and 50-foot front, there's nothing left. So that is the purpose of it, is to allow those existing homes to be conforming for the zone that they're in, and therefore to be able to be remodeled, rebuilt, whatever, subject to the bulk requirements of the R4 instead, which is for a 25-foot rear, 25-foot front, 45-foot rear.
Thank you.
Well, questions? The motion to approve ordinance 2016-19?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Gallup?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Swartz?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sullivan?
Yes. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have 6 items on the consent agenda tonight. Greg, if you will, please.
Resolution 2016-218, approving meeting minutes. 2016-219, approving executive session minutes. 2016-220, releasing escrow balances. 2016-221, renewal of contract with MCMUA for recycling pickup. 2016-222, rejecting bids and authorizing rebid for electrical improvements in fuel storage tank. 2016-223, settlement of tax appeal.
Very well. Any questions?
I would like to just have a little bit of a discussion regarding the MUA contract regarding recycling pickup, because Tom and I were fortunate enough to be able to sit down with our county representatives and discuss a matter which has been brought to our attention now and then as far as weekly pickup is concerned. We did ask the county to price it out for us and come up with a possible alternative to our every other week recycling. And we've had people come before us and talk about it, and what it comes down to really is a lot more money, I think, than this contract was originally, and a lot more money than we would have been asked to spend if we just renewed it as is. The MUA did come up with a couple of accommodating notions, and I'd like Tom to talk about it, including making our recycling depot down on Tanglewood a little bit more efficient and more user-friendly. And Tom, if you can just comment on it a little bit? You got it. Okay, I got it. One thing that the county has, that the MUA has proposed to us, which makes a great deal of sense, is installing a compactor. The township will provide the concrete pad for the compactor as well as the electrical connection, which we can do without too much issue because it will feed right off of the Tanglewood water treatment plant. This will alleviate the need for what has become a somewhat inefficient recycling receptacle, the 30-yard roll-off containers, which sometimes create an unusable situation in terms of wet paper, snow-covered recycling, etc. So bringing in the compactor will create a more efficient use of space as well as our township energy in terms of getting the recycling in and out of the depot. It'll allow for fewer pickups at the county level, so the county will be able to save some money, some of our money, by coming down there and picking up our recycling every several days instead of every other day or so. And and pricing out the weekly recycling just became a little bit more cumbersome for us financially as we strive every time we sit down to keep a rein on taxpayer dollars. It seems in this day and age where everybody is grappling for money and grappling for programs to spend those monies on, Chatham Township has done a great job of managing our municipal budget. If there is a greater hue and cry for weekly recycling, we'll find a way for our residents to avail themselves of a program. And so I'm in favor of the contract as we did talk about it, and I'm sure any more minute questions can be answered at anybody's convenience. So that's that.
Thank you, Karen.
When they priced it out for the, how much, what was the price for that?
It was approximately $60,000.
It was an additional $60,000, about a 50% increase. So it's not double, but it's about 50%.
So like a penny per milk gallon, right?
We talked
Getting
about,
feisty with just 2 meetings to go.
we talked about the revenue that is generated for recycling, which is actually linked to commodities prices. So when you're talking about depressed commodities prices, such as for petroleum-based products, therefore the price of a barrel of oil, the revenue that we're generating is not increasing. The revenue, our reimbursement, I should say, is not increasing. And trying to justify a $60,000 additional expense at the taxpayer's generosity, I hate to use that term, but it seems less than prudent. So we decided to keep with our biweekly schedule.
Thank you, Karen.
It's really almost hard to justify recycling, period, because there's virtually no market left anymore. And you know, I've said it here before, I think most people probably are unaware of it, that glass, for example, which is the single heaviest item that goes into household trash, is ground up and used to cap landfills. That's where it's going. So, you know, all the effort that goes into handling it, you know, sorting it at home, storing it, putting it out to the curb, having it picked up, having it brought to the recycling depot and sorted out, and then it winds up on a landfill anyway. It seems a little bit silly, but maybe the market someday will turn around again. It's questionable, frankly, whether it ever will.
That's not for.
If we weren't recycling, landfills would be a lot larger, right?
Well, the solution, though, is to just put it on a train and send it to Texas. They have plenty of land out there.
All right. Any other questions on any items? Motion to approve?
So
Greg?
Mr. Gallup?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Schwartz?
yes.
Deputy Mayor Sullivan?
Yes. We have a discussion item on here tonight. It's the 2017 meeting schedule. Really, it's for us to figure out. The mayor is not here tonight. He has a couple of conflicts. Certainly, there might be others. So everyone has that. Take a look at it, see what works, see what doesn't work.
Yeah, this will be formally approved at the reorganization meeting in January. I just wanted to bring it to your attention before then. The only one that I had a real question on was the date of the July meeting. So if each of you wants to send me an individual email with a straw poll, which of the 2 dates you prefer, then I can prepare the resolution accordingly for the reorg meeting.
Great. Thank you, Greg. At this point, I'm going to open it up again to a hearing of citizens. It's an opportunity for anyone to come forth and speak about anything that's on their mind. Seeing no one come forth, I'm going to close out this portion of the hearing of citizens. We do have an executive session tonight, and we will not be taking any action on any of the items. Okay. Greg, if you would.
It's Resolution 2016-P-18. Whereas NJSA 10:4-12 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham, County of Morris, State of New Jersey as follows, The public shall be excluded from discussion of the specified subject matter. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Litigation in the matter of the Township of Chatham for judgment of compliance of its third-round housing element and fair share plan, docket number MRS-L-1659-15, collective bargaining agreement, PBA, and property acquisition or investment options, open space. It is anticipated that the minutes on the subject matter of the executive session will be made public upon conclusion of the matter under discussion and in any event when appropriate pursuant to NJSA 10:4-7 and 4-13. The committee will come back into regular session and may take further action, and this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Gallup? Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Sullivan?
Yes.